Setting up my songwriting studio for maximum creativity. Herbal tea, incense from that gas station, and an eraser. Not like I'm gonna need that. Here we go.
Bob's Burgers is a wonderfully written show, but there are times where I do find myself mentally rewriting a scene or two.
Why is everyone reading her diary?
It's well written.
She's better on the page than in person.
And what if the Nazis get us and it's all we have of our family?
I'm the Bobist, and today I'll be revising certain dialogue in different episodes of Bob's Burgers. For this video, I'll be introducing what I find to be a few missed opportunities among character interactions, and I'll even touch on the naming schemes of certain episodes as well. I'll be honest, some of these things you guys might agree with, and others you might find to be just a bit too nitpicky, which is fine because everyone has their nitpicks. I'm just a guy sitting here on YouTube talking about them, so take these things with opinionated grains of salt, but let's get started.
It's a bunch of grown-ups playing patty cake. I don't get it, Bob.
Then you don't get me, Teddy. You don't get me.
Oh, he's been slapping everything since we got back from that show.
It's called caking, Lynn. You know.
No,
you
I
were
don't
there.
know. No, I fell asleep.
We know that Bob loves cake, which is shorthand for patty cake that loosely pays homage to the stage show known as Stump, but we've unfortunately only gotten 2 instances of his love for the show.
This weekend at the Wharf Arts Center, cake is back.
It's so beautiful.
And this time, they're gonna patty cake your breath away.
It did. It just caked my breath away.
That said, it's not quite among those episodes where my first revision is found, but actually in the season 11 premiere episode, Dream a Little Bit of Bob. The episode's A-plot finds Bob looking for Tina's birth certificate in the car, but he ends up falling asleep and dreaming up this whole adventure whose moral is that Bob should be proud of the life that he's created and not beat himself up over lack of success.
Okay, Squeezy Ball. We need to use you. What's left of you?
But I still look the same, right?
Oh, yeah, even younger.
But it's the B-plot of the episode where my problem lies. Louise and Jean learn this little hand game at school that's basically a more advanced version of caking. The plot finds Tina not able to keep up with everyone, and considering that these hand games are usually something that we learn during grade school, everyone in town seems to have their own version of the accompanying song.
How many people died in the fire?
1, 10,
30.
That's the best version. That's coming to school. Everyone's gonna be doing this tomorrow.
So at the end of the episode, Bob finally wakes up after defeating the embodiment of his shame, and he joins the family where Tina's excited that she finally understands how the game works.
Don't think about it. Keep going.
Ally Sheedy's too busy, so we got her sister Lizzie. Lizzie Sheedy likes to cuss when she's driving on the bus. These are the words she likes to say. Crotch,
Look at her go.
dingle, crap, boob, fart, nips, tips, double dips, and that's why we drove off the cliff. Hell yeah! Hell yeah! That felt good. Can I do that again, Mom?
You sure, sweetie? Go ahead.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Now this is what finally leads to my revision. So the Belchers have been basically caking the entire episode, and when Tina shows Bob what she can quote do with her hands, the writers decide not to make one callback to Bob's love of cake, which I just found to be such a missed opportunity.
You know what though? I kind of want to do marching band now because look what Tina can do with her hands.
Did they do that, marching band?
They will.
Do you need a birth certificate?
Nope.
I love it.
Bob's love of cake seems to be a big interest of his, and it's honestly adorable when he gets excited about it. So if I could rework this scene, what would happen is Tina would go,
Look what Tina can do with her hands.
to which Bob would respond, wait, what is that? Were you guys caking? Then Linda over there in the back responds,
Yeah, kinda.
and Bob gets the final line of the episode where he excitedly says, oh my god, Tina, show me everything, which would then perfectly lead into the end credits. Writing things this way would not have only given due call back to one of Bob's interests, but showing his excitement to cake with his daughter on top of him then caking with her in the end credits would have just made the whole thing so precious.
Come on, do it with me.
No, my hands still hurt from yesterday.
Teddy, how about you? Put up your hands.
No, thank you.
I just gotta want a cake with somebody.
All right. Ow! I don't like it. I don't like it. Stop!
Keep your hands up.
I don't like it. I don't like this.
Keep 'em up!
Just stop!
Tina, what's going on? Use your words, honey. Look at me.
This morning, Zeke texted Tammy, who texted Jocelyn, who accidentally texted me, even though she meant to text her cousin Tina, who lives in Clearwater, Florida, that Jimmy did ask Becky to be his Valentine, and she said yes, and they're going on a date tonight. It's Valentine's Day, and my life is over.
Time of death, 9:15 a.m.
Time of breath, powerful.
Sorry.
V for Valentine Detta, the season 8 episode that introduces everyone's favorite pink lesbian, Nat.
Now I know what we ought to do. We ought to figure out where this kid is that messed you up. What'd you say his name was?
Jimmy Jr.?
Yeah, terrible name. I hate him because of his name.
But due to Jimmy Jr. being at his most douchebaggy self, Tina's feelings get hurt, leading to her being depressed for most of the entire episode.
All right, so where to? Sad girl, you want to go run over this kid who dumped you or what?
That sounds like a good plan.
Now it's the dialogue surrounding Tina's depression where my next revision is found. Now this one's a lot more nitpicky than the last one, but still pretty reasonable, I think. Nat mentions Valentine's Day when Tina begins to groan because of her heartbreak, but then we get this line from Louise.
Hi, hello. I'm your driver. Call me Nat. They didn't tell me I was driving 3 real-life princesses for Valentine's Day.
Nat, ixnay on the Valentine's Day talk, okay?
Yeah, my sister got dumped by a jerk and her puberty operating system is crashing.
Uh-oh.
Now there's a couple reasons that I'm revising this line. I'm a pretty big tech enthusiast, PCs more than anything. And in the PC world, there's no such 3-letter acronym as something operating system. There's only the 2-letter acronym OS, which means operating system by itself. However, there's obviously the 3-letter acronym CPU, which means central processing unit. So what would have made the joke more clever is if Louise said her puberty processing unit. 1, because it makes more sense, and 2, it creates the acronym PPU, which sounds slightly more humorous and on brand with Bob's Burgers' penchant for mild toilet humor.
The title is Poo Poo Pee Pee and all the lyrics are Poo Poo Pee Pee, so we're killing it.
So the perfect line would have been that her puberty processing unit is crashing, her PPU. And the unit that's processing her pubescent feelings, well, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary folk, we call that the heart.
Okay, I want you to repeat after me, and I'm taping it on my phone. Ready? I will not sue you if I get decapitated.
Will not sue you if I get decapitated.
Let's eat some bugs!
Still wearing socks as a necktie, huh?
Double sock necktie.
Yeah, it's double the struggle for Gene.
Okay, so this next one's not even nitpicky. This is just a straight up joke that they left on the table for absolutely no reason. In the season 13 episode titled These Boots Are Made for Stalking, Tina finds herself trying to get in good with a group of teens that she finds to be cool.
What am I doing?
Is she waiting on them? That's not what's happening, right?
Why would she do that?
It's her training kicking in. She's like the worst Jason Bourne.
And while the A plot has its own mishaps, it's actually the B plot where my next revision is found. During the episode's opening scene, we find that Jean and Louise are playing in her room, which Jean and Louise playing together. So Jean ends up taking his socks off to get better traction, but leaves his socks in Louise's room.
I said, get those satanic socks out of my room. And he said, I will, right after I parkour some more, but then he forgot.
But after a smell clouds her room and she finally finds the source, she confronts Jean about his socks and challenges him to suffer the smell himself, leading to him wearing the socks around his neck.
Wear them in this area, near the smell zone.
How about right here? I can use some necktie accessorizing. I'm dressing for success. Gene, please don't. Father, this is something I have to do. Is it? Yes.
As the plot moves a bit forward, Louise insists that Gene served his nasal sentence, but Gene suggests that it's been a great deal for him turning heads and clearing cafeteria lines. But this is what leads to my next revision.
There's no way that wearing that smelly sock as a necktie was a good thing.
It's fine, Louise. You wouldn't get it. You're living that no-sock necktie life, probably because you're not strong enough, and that's okay.
Oh, I'm strong enough. I'm just not quite as dumb as you. But if I chose to wear a sock necktie, I'd be great at it. I'd be better at it than you.
Your mouth is writing checks your nose can't cash.
Psh, my nose can write checks all day. It's got overdraft protection.
Well, mine reimburses you for out-of-network ATM fees.
Now in that scene, Louise says that her nose has overdraft protection. And because my revision is so perfect, I checked the transcript for the episode on tvshowtranscripts.onboard to confirm that she said overdraft protection and that my ears weren't simply failing me. But the obvious joke here is that instead of overdraft protection, I'd have written it as odor draft protection, you know? Like her nose is protected from drafts of odor, but the pun on overdraft is still present. Like, come on. The joke literally wrote itself. It's like the joke wrote itself and the writers rewrote the joke for no other reason other than for me to make this video.
I don't want to wear mine anymore.
So I win?
Do you? I mean, you have a pretty serious rash, and I'm getting one too. I feel like we both lost. And so did everyone around us.
Yes. Sorry, but yes to that. You guys are a little too young. It's rated R.
What, for violence?
Well, there's a couple swears, and a character gets drunk, and there's a lot of innuendo. We see stuff like that every day with you and Mom.
Now this next entry is going to address what I find to be a bigger issue with Bob's Burgers, and that's its parental rating. As I mentioned in my pitch meeting parody, the vast majority of Bob's Burgers episodes have adopted the TV PG rating, and it seems that it stopped them from being able to say things that would be a lot more fitting and slightly more humorous. For example, let's look at the episode Every Which Way But Goose. In the episode, Tina's theme is chosen for the school dance, and she needs to participate on the committee to plan out everything, but there's just one little problem with that.
If you're doing dance committee after school, who's gonna cover for you at the restaurant?
My incredibly supportive sister and brother.
They sound nice.
You guys, please, it's my theme.
Fine, we'll cover for you. But you've got to do something for us.
Okay.
Every day this week when you get home from dance committee, you have to clean the restaurant bathroom.
Oh, that's where the toilet is.
Yeah.
But we take turns.
If you want to be on the committee, it's not gonna be pretty.
Okay, fine. It's a deal.
Now this one in particular I don't find to be such a big deal, but if Bob's Burgers will maintain its TV-14 rating, Louise would have been able to say something like, if you want to be on the committee, it's gonna be shitty, which is obviously more humorous given the toilet situation. But what's more is one of the recent season 15 episodes titled Advice Things Are At Nice.
Save me some means you don't take a second bowl before everyone's had their first.
I could have shot myself. They're just so chocolatey. I don't understand how they're legally allowed at breakfast.
Louise.
So later in the episode, Tina's still upset and calls Louise, quote, a serial swiper.
Are we this desperate for small talk?
I was talking to Jean. I'm still mad at you, serial swiper.
Okay.
Serial killer, okay? You call her a serial killer. I mean, has Bob's Burgers become so PG that we have to avoid the word killer now? It just reminds me of this scene from Avatar: The Last Airbender where they clearly jump through every little hoop to avoid saying the phrase, I'll kill you. So Katara just goes, I'll make sure your destiny ends right then and there. Permanently. And don't get me wrong, I love the wholesome nature of Bob's Burgers. It's what sets it apart from the other shows, no doubt. But if the showrunners are going to continue to claim that it's an adult sitcom, then I'm going to need to see some adult. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so it's break time, and I want to take this opportunity to talk about my previous upload, which I mentioned earlier is a parody of the popular Pitch Meeting channel. The video is not performing as well as I had hoped, which kind of sucks because it's arguably one of the best videos on my channel. So, if you've made it this far, as you subscribe to the channel and like this video, please consider watching that video directly after. I'm not above pleading, and if simply asking isn't enough, then perhaps there are some other arrangements that can be made. Instagram at the Bob is serious inquiries only.
Oh, he's got one.
False alarm.
I really thought that was going to be it.
So the last thing I want to talk about in this video is the ultimate nitpick of nitpicks, and it has less to do with the dialogue in the show and more with the way Bob's Burgers names its episodes. It's a silent gripe that I've always had, and there are so many, but what I'm going to do is round up the top 5 that give me an impending aneurysm, starting with the episode from my second entry, V for Valentine Detta. The episode's title is a pun on the 2005 action film V for Vendetta. So going from V for Vendetta to V for Valendetta would make the pun flow much nicer than V for Valentine Detta. It's just like if the word is not wholly there, they don't trust us to make the connection of the pun. What further proves this point is the episode titled Presto Tina O. This is obviously a play on the magical words Presto Change-O, and I get that they wanted to maintain the hyphenated phrase of old, but it would have flowed much nicer if the episode was simply called Presto Tino. It would have worked equally well, and we'd understand the swap of Tina's A to the O to fit the pun even with the hyphen absent. Number 3 is Nightmare on Ocean Avenue Street. This one should be pretty damn obvious considering that it's a pun on the 1984 horror film Nightmare on Elm Street. My problem with this one is, why is it called Nightmare on Avenue Street? There's no such thing as an avenue street unless the street's called Avenue. So obviously the simple thing to do is just Nightmare on Ocean Avenue. It's like if they didn't include the word street, they would think nobody would make the connection. Like, why do they feel the need to spoon feed these titles to us? Okay, so I made a mistake here. I thought that there were going to be 5 because I split one into 2 sections, but there's actually only 4. So, number 1 is the episode titled Believe It or Not. Believe It or Not. Oh my god. So this one's obviously a pun on Believe It or Not. My problem with this is I used to even have a tough time sounding out the name of the episode. I used to have to be like, Believe It or Not for my brain to get it right. But the simple solution for this one is you simply write bully followed by apostrophe VE space or not. Or simply put, believe it or not. Believe it or not. This is child's play. Like I said, guys, I know this whole video is just one big nitpick, and most of this stuff doesn't even lessen my enjoyment of the show. It's the principle of the thing.
It's the principle of it, Lynn. The principle.
Yep, there it is.
It's the principle of the thing, sir. It's the principle. Principle.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Obviously, this is all my opinion. I just want to finally get this stuff off my chest. So let me know which ones you might agree with. I'm the Bobist, and again, please watch the pitch meeting video. It's so fun, and I know you'll enjoy it. Catch you on the next one. just a bit too nitpicky. Everyone has their nitpicks. It's a lot more nitpicky than the last one. Not even nitpicky. Ultimate nitpick of nitpicks.